Columbus, Mid-Missouri. This is KRCG 13 live at 6.
The nation's attention focuses on the University of Missouri, where a tent city protest and football boycott lead to the resignation of the university system president.
And to promises from university curators to put a brighter spotlight on diversity. Good evening. Racial tensions on the MU campus have come to a head with the immediate resignation of university system president Tim Wolf.
And the announcement of a January 1st resignation of Columbia campus Chancellor R. Bowen Lofton. Our team coverage starts tonight with KRCG 13's Mark Slavitt. He focuses on the announcements from Wolf and Lofton, which came during a hastily called 6-hour-long Board of Curators meeting.
Well, Kermit and Megan, we began our day with the resignation of University of Missouri System President Tim Wolf, and we ended our day with MU Chancellor R. Bowen Lofton stepping down from his job. Now, Tim Wolf held back tears as he has announced his resignation. Wolf said he resigned after taking full responsibility for the alleged racial tensions on all 4 campuses. Wolf wants everyone to take his resignation as part of a healing process.
I'm resigning as president of the University of Missouri System. My motivation in making this decision comes from love. I love MU, Columbia, where I grew up, in the state of Missouri.
Well, later today, Chancellor R. Bowen Lofton announced he is stepping down from his job as of January 1st. Before he made his announcement, 9 deans from the University of Missouri-Columbia sent a letter to the Board of Curators asking them to fire Lofton. However, he will still remain within the university system.
I have decided today that I will transition from the role of Chancellor of the University of Missouri, effective the end of this year, and move into a new role where I will work with many people across the university and with the system to advance our research mission at the University of Missouri.
University of Missouri Board of Curators President Donald Cupp said university leaders will try to replace both Wolf and Lofton as soon as possible. Reporting live in Columbia, Mark Slavitt, KRCG 13.
News of Wolf's resignation sparked celebration among MU students who had demanded his removal.
That's right. Hundreds of students gathered on the Carnahan Quadrangle this morning while the curators met. KRCG 13's Garrett Bergquist was there when the word came down.
Well, several students echoed protesters' assertions that Wolf's resignation is a start but doesn't solve the university's problems. Celebrations broke out on the Carnahan Quad when word came down around 10:30 that Wolf was stepping down. They continued into early afternoon. Several black students say they feel isolated on the MU campus. One student says white students need to do a better job of seeing her as just another person.
And know that we're people just like you are. The only thing that's different is I'm black and you're white, but we're here for the same goal. We're here to accomplish the same thing. We're here to get an education. We all got in, we're all here.
Now, another student didn't want to go on camera. He said if a protest like this needed to happen, he's glad it happened at MU. He says this can make MU a leader on race issues. Live in Columbia, Garrett Bergquist, KRCG 13.
Garrett, thank you. The resignation prompted swift reaction from the state capitol. Governor Jay Nixon issued a statement saying Wolf's decision to step down was, quote, a necessary step toward healing and reconciliation on the University of Missouri campus. Secretary of State Jason Kander wants the Concerned Student 1950 movement to be a starting point for a continuing dialogue. He said, quote, the university cannot wait to take action to ensure black students have the same opportunities to succeed as white students. Speaking for the House Black Caucus, Kansas City Representative Brandon Ellington said the resignation demonstrates that leaders who ignore justice or cling to the status quo do so at their own peril. And House Assistant Minority Leader Gail McCann-Beatty said university curators must not repeat the mistake of inaction and indifference. And from Washington, U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill expressed confidence that MU will work to create a stronger community of acceptance and equality. The hunger strike by MU student Jonathan Butler came to an end moments after Tim Wolf announced his resignation.
We continue tonight's team coverage with Courtney Joden.
Thousands of students gathered at Traditions Plaza on Mizzou's campus at 1 this afternoon to hear the original 11 members of the Concerned Student 1950 group to address the media and community after Wolf's resignation. The 11 students, including Jonathan Butler, a grad student who helped start the hunger strike, says Wolf's resignation is a glimmer of hope and just the beginning. The group says they demand an immediate meeting with the Board of Curators, Faculty Council, and Missouri Governor Jay Nixon to discuss shared governance and create a system of realistic inclusion for all constituents. Members say their demands must be met to get healing. Marshall Allen, who was a part of the Concerned Student 1950 group, says they will not rest until they have full shared governance within the system. Butler, who participated in an 8-day personal full-on hunger strike, has continued eating again. He says their cries for change shouldn't have taken this long and made it to this extent.
It was everybody who chose to stand up in this time who made this possible. This was not Jonathan Butler. This was the Mizzou community for one of the first times that I've ever seen stand together united.
A spokesperson for Concerned Student 1950 group, Candace Head, says Butler did go to the hospital today to get a checkup. He is doing okay, doing the best he can, but it's going to be taking some time for him to get full-on nourishment. Live in Columbia, Courtney Joden, KRCG 13.
Now, a significant development in the Tim Wolf story was the decision over the weekend of the Mizzou football players to boycott football activities until Wolf left office.
The national spotlight that decision put on the situation, it may have been the tipping point. We go live now to KRCG 13 Sports Director Rod Smith for more.
Megan and Kermit, the Missouri football Tigers will indeed play this Saturday night in Kansas City. The BYU game is on as scheduled. It was in jeopardy over the weekend when the Tiger football players decided to join in the protest and discontinue all football activities. Coach Gary Pinkel spoke today here at the Missouri Athletics Training Complex and told us about a team meeting that the Tigers had yesterday.
I'm sure that some players said, I don't know if I really agree with missing a game for this, but we're a team and we're a family, and I get and I feel what those guys are feeling, and I'm going to support them. So to sit there and say, everybody raised their hand and said, I'm in, they certainly did. But at the end of the day, certainly there were some players that just went along with it, most likely, because it was their football team and their family, and they were going to support them.
The Tiger players decided not to speak to the media today. Pinkel told us it was their choice. They didn't practice yesterday. They will return to the practice field as normal tomorrow in preparation for that BYU game on Saturday. In Columbia, Rod Smith, KRCG 13 Sports.
The resignations today follow months of controversy triggered by a series of racially charged incidents.
KRCG 13's Ashley Zavala is on the campus now to review the timeline. Ashley?
See you, so hopefully, yeah, I can hear. Kermit and Megan, the University of Missouri system, Tim Wolf's resignation, as well as Chancellor Arbo and Lofton's, comes after a long series of events in a short amount of time. To recap, in September, student body president Peyton Head was hurled with racial slurs as he was walking on campus. Later, in the beginning of October, members of the Legions of Black Collegians were rehearsing a homecoming skit when they were hurled with racial slurs by a young man walking by. A few days later, on October 10th, Concerned Student 1950 blocked Wolf's car during the homecoming parade. Members chanted and tried to talk to Wolf, but they were shooed away by police. On October 21st, that same student group asked Wolf to apologize. A week later, a swastika made of feces was smeared on a dorm bathroom wall. The student group met with Wolf but was still not satisfied in late October. That resulted in Jonathan Butler refusing to eat until Wolf resigned. 5 days into that hunger strike, Mizzou football players pledged to not participate in activities until Butler ate and Lofton stepped down. The next morning, head coach Gary Pinkel told his players they had his support And just 24 hours later, Wolf resigned, followed by Chancellor Arbo and Lofton's resignation this evening. The student group Concerned Student 1950 says they'd probably like to see more added to that timeline, including meetings with Governor Jay Nixon and the Board of Curators. Reporting live in Columbia, Ashley Zavala, KRCG 13.